Hello, 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 crafty friends. This is your girl, Caron. Welcome. Come on into the craft room and let's have a little bit of fun today. All right, guys, today I am playing with a little bit of non-Stampin' Up products. I just received the September 2026 Build a Garden bundle from Altenew. I just got it yesterday, so I have not played with it at all. So I'm going to have a little bit of a play with you while I'm here. My goal today is just to primarily use the stencils to see how they work. I'm going to try to build a card, create a card with this. Not the ultimate goal today to create the card. I do want to just be able to play with the stencils to see how they align, and then we'll go from there. So this is the September Build a Garden. I do subscribe to the Build a Garden. I love flowers. And it is called a Harvest Bouquet. Included in this Build a Garden is the stencils. This is a 5-piece stencil set. It's 4.5 by 6-inch stencils. That's the size. It also comes with a stamp set, coordinating stamp set, and then a coordinating die. What I'm going to try to do today is to work with the colors in what I'm calling a no-line version, as well as with it no coloring and just stenciled, just to see which effect I like. So again, the ultimate goal today is not to create a card, even though if we get to that, more power to us. If you are new to my channel, welcome. And take a moment to subscribe to the channel. And then don't forget to hit that notification bell to let you know whenever I am going to go live. I'm using today, let me share with you what I am using today. This is I do have some of the Altenew inks. And this stand is from inkstandshop.com, and it is specifically designed to hold my ink so that I can ink blend. I am also using the Positively Perfect Craft Tacky Mat from Simon Says, which is already layered on my silicone mat. And then I am going to be using some Altenew small blending brushes. I think these are the small or the minis. I can't remember which one. They're blending brushes. And then, of course, we've got the stencils. Now, what Altenew has done, I don't know if you can see this little line. This is like a divider line. This is all dealing with one plant, one of the floral elements, and this side deals with the other. So we'll be changing colors and moving the stencils accordingly. So let's just have a little bit of fun. I'm going to bring the guide back. Oh, I love these guides, right? So with the, you have the guide, and it kind of tells you how the stencil is going to work. If you see right here, there is that guideline, and it kind of gives you what you're working on and how it's going to align. So I do use the guides just to make sure that I'm doing things in the right order. I think it's blush then rouge. Yeah, so that's it. So I've pulled inks. I don't have all of the, hey, thanks guys. Thanks for popping in. I don't have all of the Altenew inks, so I kind of had to pull, mix and matches. So the colors will be a little bit different. But that's okay. We're going to create our own project today. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So the first color we're going to use is the blush. Let's put these over here. Let's keep that over here. This is designed so that I don't lose my things, because I tend to, especially when they're separate like that. And I'm going to go in. I've already positioned the... Hey, good morning, Kat. Hey, good morning. Ooh, gel printing as you listen. Awesome. So I'm going to start with the blush, and I've already put the stencil in place. I've already marked it off with some masking tape. That way I don't get ink where I don't want ink to be. I have found that I am developing this amazing, I just love stenciling as my form of coloring. I do have, what are those things called? Alcohol inks and I do have the stamping blends, but I just sometimes it's just faster, quicker, easier, and I get things colored a lot faster with stencils. So I do prefer that. Now, I'm going to try to add a lot of depth and dimension just by using the colors that I have. So what I'm going to do is I've already laid down a light base of color with the blush. And then I'm going to go in and with the blush again, and I'm going to add a little bit more color where I want to add a little bit of highlight. So it'll be a little bit darker in certain areas than others. All right? So I'm already going to add some layers of coloring. Where I think it would build, as you can see already from here, we've already got so much texture already just by how I've added the light layer and then a darker accent or highlight color. I didn't make my walk this morning, guys, if you couldn't tell. And then once we're done with that, we're going to change this. And then we're going to switch sides. We're going to adjust our stencil. So now we can work on this other floral element right here. Look at that already. Can you see the difference already? Okay. So now we're just going to go ahead. This is... oh. You see how we have to turn this? Make sure everything is lined up. All right? I should have cleaned my stencil off. I didn't. We're aligned. And these are fairly easy to line up. Let's put you over here. And I'm going to use this to mask off where I don't want to get ink. And now I'm going to switch to the yellows. Yes. And why am I switching to the yellows? Where's my guide? If you see on the guide, we change colors over here. So I'm switching to a different color family on that side. So I'm going to use the yellow. And again, this is buttercream. And I'm playing with colors. I might decide to change things, but you know, I'm just playing right now, trying to see what I like. And then eventually, maybe potentially use colors that's normally in my wheelhouse. I watch a lot of Mindy Egan as far as, because I think she's amazing at ink blending. So I do try to watch and follow some of her guidelines on how she adds colors with ink blending. And so one of the things that she does and she teaches is add that light layer first. Obviously, you can always build color. So I'm adding just a light base with the yellow. And again, this is buttercream. It blends very smooth. And then I'm going to go in with like I did before, and add more depth of color so that it'll be darker at certain highlight spots. Right here as well. Perfect. Now, you don't have to do that when you're stenciling or adding color, but if you wanted to build color, build layers, build highlights, then definitely that is one way to do it, especially if you only have like 2 or 3 shades that complement each other. Okay, that's all I'm going to do on that one. I like these trays from the inkstand shop. They have some square ones. Unfortunately, they don't have ones that fit the Stampin' Up inks, so we won't be able to do that. But then again, you know, the new Stampin' Up inks, excuse me, are magnetic, so there's no chance of losing them, right? All right, so the first stencil is done. Oh, I like that little color combination. Let's go ahead and put that over there. Stencil number 2 is still more florals. And here we're going to add detail, right? So let's see how we're going to line this up. So on here, I don't know if you can see in here, it kind of gives you an outline as to where the flower is. So you know how to go ahead and align the stencil. Perfect. And again, I just put the tape on to mask off where I didn't need it here. So now we're going to go in with the second color. This one is called Rouge. And I am going to use the same brush. And again, I'm going to go add a light hand. Well, let me make sure. Yes. So now we're on stencil number 2, and it is no. Okay, so I have to switch some colors, as you can see, right? Okay, so I got to be mindful of that. This is why I keep the guide around. This is precisely why I keep the guide around. So we've got that here. We've got this up here. I need a detailed brush. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to add more color just around the centers on this one, so it's a little bit darker there. And then let me grab my next yellow. Well, let me finish this one first. So I'm going to find a detailed brush. And then these are just some brushes I have gotten from, I think Amazon are these. And where I need a little bit more refining, smaller areas, that's where I'm going to use these to add more colors. Okay. Perfect. I'm wondering if it looks like different colors. Guys, I'm just going to run with it, right? And this is why I'm playing with the colors today, so I know exactly how the stencils work. Doesn't have to be perfect, of course, but I'm just playing. I want to see how this works out. And there we go. So we've got that. I'm liking it. Look at the depth of colors on that one already. Do you see? Okay. And then this guy covers him. Is that right? Yes. No. guy right down here. Perfect. And again, we can see the colors that we're going to use. At first, when I first started playing with Altenew, this was many years ago, I started playing with some Altenew colors. And I tell you, I was very intimidated. I couldn't figure out, and again, I was new to stamping. So, and ink blending and all this other stuff, and I just couldn't figure it out. So I stopped looking at Altenew products for a very long time, just because it was difficult for me. I know, right? But I do love them. All right, that one's done. And we can put this guy away. Put that back under there. And I need this rouge bag. Right? Because now I need to add rouge to this one. And then I'm going to focus right on the center point. Make sure that's a little bit darker. Right there. Do you see? Look at that. That's just adding so much more depth to the image already. And that is just 2 colors that I've used so far. All right. So I did, for my no line, I couldn't find my no line ink. I have no line color ink somewhere. So I ended up stamping the base color in Stampin' Up's basic gray to give me an outline so that I can actually literally see where the lines are. That helps with aligning the stamps. There we go. Well, this didn't have any green in it, so I think we're going to switch to the lighter of these 2 for our leaves. Almond butter. And we are now on stencil number 3. I might want a lighter shade. So I'm going to start very, very light as far as color is concerned. With a very, very light hand. All right? And then what can help you with that is starting on the stencil. And remember to swirl your brush in both directions, right? That ensures you have a little bit of a smoother application. And then your coloring is both ways, right? So the artist renderings here used a cocoa cream and a choco hazelnut. I don't have those colors, so I am substituting with almond butter, and I think it's going to be milk chocolate is what I'm going to use. We'll see how those color combinations work. So again, light hand, starting on the stencil material in and of itself, and swirling back and forth, just laying down some color. A soft base of color. And if you find that on your brush you don't have enough color, go right back on that stencil and pick that color right back up, because it's there for you to use. It's part of your color palette. I think I am going to like this. Normally my leaves are always green, but have you ever tried playing with different colors for your leaves? I've not. Leaves are supposed to be green or brown, depending on the time of year. So I generally don't use any other different colors, although leaves are so many different colors that you can play with. All right, and so I'm going to do the same thing. Going to highlight more towards the bottom, add a little bit more color there. So we can start to see a little bit of highlighting and dimension in our leaves. All right. I think that's pretty. Look at that. That's stencil number 3. And again, there are 5 stencils in here. I'm going to use the same color. Excuse me. Make sure that's lined up. I am going to start with the same color. All right. I'm going to go a little bit darker because now I want to start showing a little bit of difference. So I am going to go a little bit darker. Just adding a little bit more pressure, adding a little bit more ink. And build that color. I should have started off up here. See how this one's a little bit darker? But it'll work. What do you think about brown leaves? Hadn't thought about that before, huh? At least I haven't. Might be something that I consider. All right, so now we're going to add that next layer of the same shade so that it is darker than the first application that we laid on. So when I lift that stencil, you will see a difference. You should see a difference between the first application that we put on and the second. All right. Now, before I remove this stencil, I'm going to go add the milk chocolate layer. And I'm going to be very light-handed with this one on here because we have that last stencil left to go. So I just want to show a little bit more depth. And I'm just going to focus around the base or the stencil area on the leaves. Oops. So I have the grip mat that I'm using is a 4.5 by 5, 4.5 by 6, I think it is, stencil mat. So it's perfect size for my cardstock base, the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, but I would need to definitely use a bigger one if my stencil size is a little bit bigger, because then I don't have to hold on to the stencil as I'm creating. I do on this one because there's not enough area for it to grab onto on the 4 1/2 by 6 mat. So keep that in mind. Also, that's kind of like justifying why I have so many different stencil mats. I have lots of them, all different sizes, and just for that very reason. Okay. Alrighty. I think we're done with that one. Look at that, you guys. I love it. Let me clean this off. Now, if you're not going to have the opportunity to go grab, to go clean your mats, just have a little spray bottle with some alcohol in it, and then just kind of wipe them off. All right. The last mat we're going to use, the last stencil, I think that's where we go there. So we're going to use multiple different colors on this one to finish this design. I got to stand up because I can't see. My angle of seeing is off. So let me stand up and place this properly. Okay, there, I see it better. You just have a little bit of a different angle when you're standing. There's no line here. Okay, I think we got it. All right, so we're going to use, we can see that where we're going to need to add our brown color. Oops, just shifted it a little bit right there. Put that back. And we're putting the final touches on detail. If I would stop shifting it. There we go. We're making sure to distribute our ink color evenly. And being careful, because now we're going to have to bring our final shades of the other colors back in. So just keep an eye, a mindful eye, as to where you're coloring, right? Or you can block it off, like I'm going to do now, right? So that's going to be a different shade, a color. This is going to be a different color. This is going to be a different color. Oh, no, this is off. Okay. Okay, still off, still good. That. wherever I'm gonna put a different color, and that way you don't have to pay as close attention when you're adding your color, because you've already marked off where you don't want to add that additional color. Make sense? So in this case, masking tape, the Scotch tape, the 3M sticky note paper is your best friend. Oops. I think we got, yep. Oh, look at that. Look at the depth. Oh my goodness, y'all. Let's put this back here so we can finalize this. All right. All right. So our brown color is complete. And now I'm going to go in with, what's up here? We got our yellow. All right. I think this one was yellow as well. Yep, there's yellow. That's that color. Okay, so these are yellow areas. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in with the warm sunshine. Oops. And I'm going to just add multiple layers of this color. Okay. I'm going to move away from it just to let it dry for a second and then come on back. I'm going to do about 3 or 4 different applications of this color because I want for you to see the difference. Okay. Last one. All right. Then we've got our last shades of our first color that we're going to finish off with. All right. Yeah. And so for that one, we're going to start with Coral Bliss. Bring this guy back in. I'm going to start lightly. And then I'm going to just right about here, add a little bit of that right there. And then the last color is Heartbeat. Okay. And that will be our last and final accent color of this particular stencil. Again, I'm just going to focus right around the base, add the most of the color there, and branch out just a little. Add a little bit of most of the color towards the base, branch out just a tad. Same everywhere else. And we're done. Guys, what do you think? Hold on. Here's our flower. I love this. So what I'm going to do now, now that I'm finished with this, is I'm going to put this back in the stamp positioning tool. And so I played with as many colors as the designer set used in theirs. I find that it's not that it's a bad thing. I just probably don't need that many colors. So I'm going to put this back in my stamp positioner if I can find it. Move that out of the way. Now, question is do I want to emboss it with gold or do I just want to emboss it with black? What do you think? Gold or black? I don't think black because there's nothing, I don't see black in here. I think I am going to go with gold. All right, so let me grab my Versamark. Make sure I clean off the basic beige from this. All right. I did go in with my anti-static tool. Let me do it again. Make sure our image is right in the corner. And add our ink. Now, this is one of the few times that I definitely use a stamp positioning tool, especially if I'm going to be re-inking something. And especially if I'm going to be using Versamark, because I can never see whether the ink has been fully applied or not. So I am definitely do use my stamp positioning tool for this type of particular type of stamping. I did not remove the stamp positioning tool from the stamp from the positioning tool, so it should be exactly where it was when I first stamped. What are you working on today in your gel printing? Are you working on anything in particular? Just to make sure, I'm going to put it right back in there. I'm going to add some more Versamark ink. I'm going to ink it up one more time. And anytime I move it, I make sure it's flush with the corner. And then I'm going to go ahead and add it. Now, where's my gold embossing? There it is. All right, we're good here. I think we're good. All right, so now that we've done that, Oh, making backgrounds. Oh. Do you do a lot with resin? Okay. And there is some embossing powder where I don't want it to be, so I'm gonna go in with a detailed brush, kind of move that out of the way where I don't want it to be. Perfect. All right, give me just a second, y'all. We're gonna emboss that and our first panel will be done. So that's one way to do that. Okay, let's put that aside. There's the lid. Do you see why I need trays up? I was gonna say, do you see why I need trays like that? Because I never know where I put things. All right, so here we go, and we're gonna go ahead and heat set our panel. I love to heat set. If you look at it, you'll see. How do you know when your embossing powder is set? You will see that it changes color and texture. And that's when you should move the your heat source away from your design so that you don't burn your paper. But you do want to make sure that your embossing powder is completely melted before you stop the process. There we go. And then just for good measure, you go over it all one more time to make sure you didn't miss anything. Guys, here's our panel. Oh, it was a pain. That's the only part of resin that's the only part of resin that I worked with. I would make like my designer paper that I wanted to use, and then I put them in like the little circular blanks, and then I would make my little pendants or my earrings or something like that. I did used to do that as well. All right, so here is our panel. And this is, again, from the September 2026 Altenew Build a Garden Harvest Bouquet. I like these colors, not colors that I would normally default to, because not normally colors that I would default to, but I definitely do like this this color palette here. Let me take a minute, and what I'm gonna do on this one is I've already gone the next set is I've already gone ahead and die cut the images. Let me clean these off as well. And I'm just going to ink blend a little differently on this one, right? So what I'm going to do on the next ones is I've already die cut them. And so I don't want the lines of the stamping lines, the black lines. So I'm going to try to ink blend on just the die cut pieces, if that makes sense, right? Clean my stencils off. And again, I clean them in between with alcohol. Alcohol dries a little bit faster. That's one. All right, so that's all 5 and they're clean. Perfect. All right, I'm going to change up my color palette. Normally my palette is, I love blues and purples, so I am going to go blues and purples on this one. And purples. Well, it's not purples. These are kind of pinkies, but I think these colors will work well together. Okay. Bring back in our mat. And we've got our die cut pieces already die cut and ready. Now I'm going to try to figure out how I'm going to align this on here so that I lay it in the right order the first time around. I found it. I found it. Okay. So the other thing I just realized, right, is that this is this way. I think. I thought I had it. I think this is it right here. Yep. There we go. Sometimes it'll just click. When things fall into place, they will just click. And you will know when you are in the right position. Okay. Let me grab some more of my tape. I don't want any color over here. I don't want any color over there. All right. I am going to do green for my leaves on this one. So let's start with our blues. And I'm going to start with sea glass. I love these colors. Don't forget to go back and forth in that motion. Now, I'm using a different blending tool. And I can tell you from this is kind of getting caught a little bit more in the edges. So, and each tool has can be used in different, for different purposes. I'm wanting to cover a larger base here. So I went with the wider, but I'm not getting as smooth a blend with this as I did with the brushes. Okay. Perfect. Grab my... Okay, and then I'm going to go in like I did before with the next level of color. Oh. And I'm just going to lightly add that next layer. And I'm not cleaning, because it's all in the same color family, I'm not cleaning the brush in between. Just lightly here. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, the color seems like they would work for me, so that's what I'm going to go with. All right, let's clean them off. I think I messed this up. Did I? No, that's right. I just turned... Oh, guys, I did this wrong. This was supposed to be down here somewhere. Ooh, that's what I get for thinking I know what I'm doing. Okay. We're going to make this work somehow. We sure are. We sure are. I think that's right. That's right. There's that line. And then here's this line. I think it's right. We'll see, guys. If not, hey. Oh, I used the wrong... I'm going to have to clean that off. So I was trying to do this without stamping first. I don't know if that's going to work for me. Oh, I needed to put some tape there. I might be one of those people that I actually need the guidelines. Yeah. I might be one of those stampers that I need the guidelines. Okay, and I'm going to do exactly what we did before. Add a deeper highlight towards the base. Messed up here. That needs to be there because I don't want that. Right? Okay. That was baby pink. Gonna add some fuchsia. And that's all we're gonna do there. Hopefully I didn't mess this up too bad. So again, I was just trying to see if I could do it. I don't know that I'm able to do it, you guys. We'll see. So stencil number 1 is finished. Let's move on to stencil number 2. Okay. I'm not lining something up right. Hold on, let me stand up again. Okay. That guy's already lined up, so that's perfect. That's good. All right. So, again, we're going to put this here because we don't want to mess that up. And then here. That we're going to need to bring in the smaller brush. So we're going to start with our fuchsia here. There we go. This is a detail brush. We're not going to start. We're going to do this one in fuchsia up here. I want this to be a little bit darker. So we're going to apply color a little more liberal here. And there. And there. And here. Just like that. So I can already tell that for me, just ink blending through stencils on just the die cut piece might require a little bit more work for me in learning how to make sure that I do that process correctly. All right, let's grab Ocean Waves. Ocean Waves is the next one. I'm going to need a detail brush for this one as well, because those are smaller areas. I'm going to start from the base, blending in both directions again to apply that color. Same here. Try to get in here. And you don't always have to stamp in a circular motion like I'm just doing here. It is a narrower spot, so I am trying to be careful. And then I'm going to add another layer right up towards the base. Same color. Okay. I think that's good. I don't know, guys. I am just playing here and hoping against all hope that this works the way I need for it to work. Right? Something is not right. Something is not right. Oh, okay. Well, it's said to turn 180 degrees on the other one. It didn't say to turn 180 degrees on this one, but I know we did because that was there. Right? I messed this up big time. Hold on, y'all. That's the beauty of this, is to try something and see. That's definitely that one up there. Yeah. Okay. And that's turned. So that's this one. So then this should be down here, right here. Ah, yeah. I think that's right. These are going to be leaves. Oh, I think that's right. That's right. All right, I'm going to have to figure this one out because I am not... Okay, let me see if I move forward with the other leaves. Where's number 3? If I do that, maybe I can get everything else lined up properly. Right? There's more than one way to skin a cat, y'all. And I think I'm about to go into the cat skinning business. Right? So those are leaves. I'm going to keep these out. Right? I'm going to finish my leaves, right? And then whatever else is blank, I'll know where something needs to be filled in, right? So let's do that. No, sometimes that's just how you have to figure things out. Sometimes you have to work backwards in order to get to the finish line. And apparently that's what I'm having to do today, is work backwards to get to my finish line. All right. And this is just the one of the ways that I'm trying to figure that out, right? Because there's always a way to figure something out. I am working with Limeade as my base green. It's a hint of yellow in it, as you can see. I could have given up on it and just said, no, I can't do it. But I'm really, really, really just trying to figure out if you mess up, or if you think you messed up, how can you recover, right? And I'm a firm believer in showing my mistakes, right? That way, someone else that may be intimidated by stenciling, you can see that even though you think you've messed up, and maybe you think you've messed up really badly, you have the option or the opportunity to fix it, right? Or another way to get to the end result. Because I told you when I first started playing with Altenew, I stopped playing with them for a very long time, because for this very reason, I wasn't experienced enough of a stamper to try to figure out how to get to the end game. So I got really, really frustrated. And so I stopped. But now I'm figuring out ways to correct things, right? Because it's all about learning and growing in your chosen craft, whatever that happens to be. All right. So this is stencil number 3. Yeah, that's going to help me, I think, figure out where to put other things. It is definitely going to help. Okay, and again, I'm going to start with this one. Instead of giving up, I'm just trying to figure out another way around, a workaround. If you are watching and you are celebrating a birthday in August, I am going to wish you a happy birthday. Or if you want to leave me in the comment the date, and you pop back in, who knows, I might go live on your birthday and make your birthday card right live. Okay. Okay. Just adding a little bit more color. Okay. And lastly, maybe I didn't miss anything. Maybe I didn't. All right. I'm gonna go in with my last green. Get that detail on the leaves. Make sure that's right. Sometimes when I go on these shopping sprees, I'm like, why would I ever buy that? But then, because I looked at these brushes this size, and I'm like, I don't know that I'm ever going to use them, but man, they are perfect for getting into the little tiny detail areas. Just be mindful. Okay. Then I got these. I don't think I missed anything now that oh, I got to put those in there. That's where that magenta one's going to go. And because it's a little brush, I don't get much application, so you have to go back in multiple times to get that the level of color that you might want. So if that's something that's going to bother you, you might want to use a larger brush head. Alrighty. Now I'm trying to think in my head, what am I going to do with these now that I've made them? Okay, I think we've got all of that. So this is finished. Going to use my dusk. Alrighty. We're done with our dusk. And then we need to do our magenta. Okay. I think we're done. I still think I'm missing something. But, you know, guys, I'm okay with it. Right? Let's see. Here we go. I like it. Totally. Oh, something. You see what's missing here? That detail in there. Nope, 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 nope. That's on slide. That's on number 2. That's 1. That's 5. Where's our number 2? Okay. No, I just got, oh, I see it. I see it. At least I think I did. It's missing something. Not sure what I'm missing here. No, that's not right. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Nope. Ha! Found it. Found it. Ha! Found it. Love it. All right. So this would be our second color. I know, don't you love it when you figure things out? Because I just did. Ha ha ha. I knew it was missing something. I've just figured it out. And thank goodness for working backwards, right? So that's just a little cue, right? That you do not have to work them in order. It's preferable, I think, that you work your stencils in the order. That way, most times it's clearer and you have an idea as to where everything goes. But it is not 100% necessary to do it that way. And you might even need to, at times, work backwards to figure out where you're going to get the shade and the coloring that you need. Okay? Or where the next area that it needs to be. Right? All right, so here we go. Here we go. Phew! I feel so much better. So much better. All right, so we are finished with our stencils. And as you can see, for me, working without the lines is a little bit more challenging and a little bit more difficult, but it is still doable. So I have the options, and I tell you that because if you wanted to do any of them, you don't have to buy all pieces. There are ways that you can work around it so that you still have, if you just want to get just the stencils and the die, then you could do that and you would still be able to finalize a project. All right, now let's figure out what we are going to do with this guy, because we got to do something with it. We can't just let it, no, we can't just let it do that. So I think, do we want to do this one or do we want to work with this one? I think since this is die cut, I want to work with that one. All right, so let's figure it out. I think I'm going to do what I would normally do, just to make this a simple process. Oops. All right. And sometimes I do quick cards. Again, the purpose for today was not to create the card, but to figure out how the stencil itself worked. And I think I have a good idea now so that I can reproduce if necessary. So what I want to do now is I'm going to create a very quick card using the product that I already have. I'm looking for a stencil. Let me trim this down to about 4 by 5 1/4. Oh, let's use this. Right. So I am going to trim this down to 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm just going to make a very simple card. It's different, right? All right, so now that we have a 4 by 5 1/4 piece of cardstock, I haven't used sprays. Do I want to use a spray? Okay, I'm just going to grab the sea glass. Create a little bit of a background. I have all these random stencils. You know, sometimes I get like a pack, and I'm just going to create this background with them. Just like that. Going to do a little bit of ink splattering. I don't want to splatter on my mat. I'm going to use this purple. Where's my brush? There it is. I'm going to use the purple. Maybe that'll pull that purple a little bit more. Maybe I'll use more than one color. Oops. That's color number 1. Oops, just made a mess. And then I think maybe this bronzy gold color. I don't do anything fancy for splattering, you guys. This is exactly what I do. And that's it. Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you see that color that I just built, that depth? Okay. And then I am going to, yeah, that's upside down to me. So I'm going to put this on here while that's drying. I've cut a couple more pieces, and I'm going to adhere them. Here's my ink, my glue. And that's how I'm going to build some depth or layers, I guess. I might still put a little bit of foam tape on it. Okay. So I've already built up some layers right there. When I'm looking for a very quick card, I really don't do a lot of fancy folds or anything like that for quick cards. I've got a 10:30 appointment. I don't know what time it is. I should have checked the time. I do. I got a 10:30 appointment. I got a haircut at 10:30. Yeah. Oh, it's almost 10 o'clock. So I got to get out of here pretty soon. Oh my goodness. Good thing I'm almost done. All right, so we have built our focal image. I'm going to grab some black cardstock. And a white card base. The black cardstock is going to be for our outline, our matte layer. I thought I pulled some black the other day. What did I do with it? Okay. You never have too much black cardstock. That's my motto, and I'm sticking with it. All right. So now we have a black matte layer that I'm going to trim to 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. All right. Let's go ahead and put this on here. Okay, we've got that. And I want to, where's my frost? What's this? Let's resist spray. Not what I'm looking for. Do I want to add a little bit? No. So I'm going to leave this because I'm going to mat my sentiment. So that's going to give me the added height that I need, the added dimension. So I don't need to add dimension to that layer. Where is my... Okay. Guys, thanks for watching me practice and play with the new Altenew Build a Garden set, Harvest Bouquet. Watch me work out some kinks. Appreciate you taking the time to do that. I think that's what my Saturday morning videos are probably going to be about, right? Playing and trying to figure stuff out, right? So you guys can actually see the process that some of us go through. And I know everybody else goes through a different process, how they come up with designs and so on and so forth. Might be interesting to you. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. Like that. Look at that. I think I would oh, do I have any black? I know, I should leave well enough alone, but it's calling for black. Yes, it is. And I should have done the black before, but it's okay. I'll try to focus my splattering of black. You see how the black just added a little something to it? That's what I needed. Awesome. And then I haven't figured out a sentiment, you guys, but this card is pretty much done. What do you think about this card and the plan that we did? It is definitely different. So, thanks guys. I am going to work on a card project with our first project, a focal image. Same stamp set, same die, no stamp on this one. This is definitely no line, alcohol ink blended only, or ink blended only. This is ink blended, no line first, and then embossed in gold at the end. I like them both. They're just different. They're just completely different. Well, I do have to get ready to go, guys. I do have a 10:30 appointment that I need to get to. So I will post these in my Facebook group, in the craft room with Caron. Pop on over there to see the final finished versions of these cards. And who knows, I might try to make another one, different color palette, and we'll see what happens. Thanks for joining me, you guys. Have a great Saturday, and I'll see you next time. Happy stamping!